Hello students, Assalamu alaikum. This is the second lecture on development politics and we are going to start with the first slide, modern approaches to the political science. To minimize the deficiencies of the traditional approaches, various new approaches have been advocated by the new political thinkers. These approaches are regarded as the modern approaches to study of political science. Many thinkers regard these approaches as a reaction against the traditional approaches. These approaches are mainly concerned with scientific study of politics. Characteristics of modern approaches. Scientific These approaches try to draw a conclusion from empirical data. These approaches go beyond the study of political structure and its historical analysis. Modern approaches believe in interdisciplinary study. They emphasize scientific methods of study and attempt to draw a conclusion in political science. Sub-approaches of modern approaches. Following of the sub-approaches of modern approaches, behavioralism approach, post-behavioralism approach. Behavioralism approach. David Easton first pointed out the intellectual foundation of behavioralism. This approach believes that there are certain uniformities in political behavior which can be expressed in generalization or theories in order to explain and predict political phenomena. In a particular situation, the political behavior of individual may be more or less similar. Such regularities of behavior may help the researcher to analyze a political situation as well as to predict the future political phenomena. Study of such regularities make political science more scientific with some predictive value. Post-behavioralism approach. Post-behavioralism believed that the use of scientific tools is beneficial. It can solve the various problems of society. Behavioralists gave too much emphasis on methods and techniques and believed that it was better to be wrong than vague. Post-behavioralists, on the other hand, believe that it is better to be vague than non-relevantly precise. The most behavioralists criticized behavioralism on the ground that the latter had lost touch with the realities of the society because of overemphasis on techniques. Thus, post-behavioralists may be regarded as the reform movement within behavioralism. This new approach emphasizes identifying and solving the major issues of political and social life. According to the post-behavioralism, the political scientists should find out different alternatives and means to solve the social problems. However, it must be remembered that it is only a continuation of behavioralism. It doesn't altogether reject the idea of behavioralism. It acknowledges the achievement of behavioralism and appreciates its effort to do objective research in political science. Similarities between modern approaches, behavioralism, post-behavioralism, both these are modern approaches. These approaches go beyond the study of political structure and its historical analysis. Modern approaches believe in interdisciplinary study. They emphasize significant scientific method of study and attempt to draw scientific conclusion in political science. These approaches try to draw a conclusion from empirical data. Difference between modern approaches, behavioralism, post-behavioralism. This approach believes that there are certain uniformities in political behavior which can be expressed in generalization or theories. Post-behavioralism believed that the use of scientific tools is beneficial if it can solve the various problems of the society. Behavioralism says in a particular situation, the political behavior of individuals may be more or less similar, while post behavioralism says in a particular situation, the political behavior of individual is not always similar. Behavioralists gave too much emphasis on methods and techniques and believed that it was better to be wrong than vague. While post behavioralists, on the other hand, believe that it is better to be vague than non relevantly practice. So we can say that the both of the major or modern approaches talk about to solve the problem. Although post behavioralism they try to distinguish from the behavioralists and they say that behavioralism is not going to solve their problems and they are only emphasizing on scientific techniques and the rest of the things, but they are not going to solve the problems. And the real object of political science or political approaches are this, that they are going to solve the problems of the people and also of society. So if they are not in the position and if behavioralism is not going to address the problem, so it means that all of their efforts are all in vain. While the post behaviorism discuss about don't emphasize on more and more on theories, but we have to solve the problem because it is the real object of political science. But they also say that these both are trying to distinguish from one another, and post behavioralism emphasize on this, that the behavioralism is not going to address the problems of political science and they are not in the position to solve the problem specially, and they are not going to understand the ground reality. But major thinkers say that this is whole always the post behavioralism is a separate from behavioralism, but it is the continuation of behavioralism and we cannot distinguish both from one another. It is a continuation of behavioralism and post behavioralism, although they are trying to emphasize of ground reality and the real things, and they say that there must be problems should be solved in this scenario. So these both are the modern approaches, and these discuss about to solve the problems in a better way, in a scientific way. So we can say that the modern approaches are trying to solve the problems of political science in a scientific way.